Hello everyone, welcome to the best place for the best takes. I'm Benjamin Cure. This is the Benjamin Cure Show. Great weekend across sports, great week overall. Sean O'Malley taking a highly contested, very highly criticized split decision win over Peter Yan in the UFC. There was no questions left with the main matchup though. Islam Makhachev, second round submission win over the champ Charles Oliveira. Those Dagestanis, let's be honest, they're built different. They are motivated by something different. They train differently. They have a different mindset. When they are rolling, when Khabib's camp is rolling, they are rolling, and no one can stop them. College football in South Florida, FIU taking a road win, a much-needed road win to show some signs of life, show that they're improving, improve their overall record. The University of Miami, though, they took another loss this weekend, another tough one. So it's a toss-up there in South Florida sports on the college side. Moving on to baseball, which I don't talk about a lot, the Houston Astros, and what was a heartbreaking final at-bat that, yes, I was watching. Aaron Judge, how fitting, at the plate, couldn't get it to fall. It would have been a magical moment had he gotten hit off. Unfortunately, bounced off the ground. He was out at first. It is what it is. That ends the Yankees' storybook season. And what was probably, since middle of the year, the best team in baseball is moving on to the World Series, the Houston Astros. But they are facing a team that is very hot right now. The Phillies, Bryce Harper Express, putting the team on his back. Get on the Bryce Harper train. He proved that he is worth every penny of that contract that they gave him all those years ago. It feels like it's been a lifetime since then. It feels like, 2017, 2018? The Washington Nationals won that year. It was a really bad look. It is what it is. Moving on to the big-time sports show. The NFL Week 7 concludes tonight. Monday Night Football, the Bears versus the New England Patriots. I'll have my pick on that later in the show, but I think you know who I'm going to pick in that one. I want to start off in the NFL with a team that I haven't wanted to talk about a lot because I was going to give them time to kind of sort out their struggles, but it's simply impossible to ignore. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Everybody is so ready to throw the blame on just one person, whether it's Tom Brady or Todd Bowles. And honestly, if you got to zoom out. It has been a series of unfortunate events for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, losing a lot of guys to free agency, to retirement. Brady losing his security blanket, Gronk to retirement, losing guys like Ndamukong Suh on the free agency side, a guy on the defense who was such an impactful player. You also lose guys during training camp to injury. Ryan Jensen, one of the best, if not the best center in football. The offensive line weekend. And, what can you say about Tom Brady? A lot of people are ready to throw him under the bus. Not so fast. He's top 10 in yards, top 10 in QBR. His QBR is above a 90 right now. He has above 1,900 passing yards. He is not the problem. His passing touchdowns have gone down. I did notice that. He only has 8 on the year. I think that puts him around 16 in terms of his ranking. Not super good. Not very Tom Brady-like, at least while he's been with Tampa. Very unusual. But that has to do more, I think, with the offensive side of the ball and maybe the game planning. Byron Leftwich was put in charge of solely the offense. They didn't make him the head coach because Brady wanted that extra one-on-one time to be able to game plan with Byron. He wouldn't have been able to do that had Byron become the all-time head coach. But you can't help but wonder. I'm going to use that word a lot. You can't help but wonder about this team. You can't help but wonder about the injuries, about the losses on both sides of the ball because of free agency and retirement. You can't help but wonder if Tom, everybody wants to ignore it, but there's some problems at home. He is great not because of his talent, but because of his mentality, because of what he thinks, his mindset, his pre-snap awareness, how he studies the game more closely than anybody else. Is the stuff at home maybe taking away some time from his studying, from his preparation? Is he as committed to football as he was last season, as he was the year before that? Hard to say yes, if we're being honest. So Tom may be spending a little bit less time prepping, not looking as good in the red zone. The touchdown numbers going down big time, especially when you compare him to that Super Bowl season and this time last year during his MVP runner-up season. Some questions there. Byron Leftwich showing you what? Maybe did Bruce Arians have a little bit more to do with the success on the offensive and defensive side of the ball than they gave him credit for? Because also, Todd Bowles, head coach, I don't like to criticize him. He deserved a second chance after that stint in New York with the Jets. He had paid his dues with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, had proven that he could be a head coach. But now, what is he showing you? It's a rough situation to be in, but you cannot help but wonder, was Bruce Arians giving him a couple more tips than maybe we thought on that defensive side of the ball? Was Bruce Arians more involved? Was he more critical to the success of this Tampa Bay team than was let on by everyone in the building? It seems like it, if we're being honest. Todd Bowles looks like he's struggling with the play calling. Looks like he's struggling with the defense. Byron Leftwich looks like he's struggling in the red zone. Tom not preparing the way that he used to. An overall loss of talent. A bad series of events for Tampa. Going back to Todd Bowles, it's kind of hard in the beginning, but you can tell. What are the indicators of success for a first-year head coach? One of the first things you can look at is, how are they doing on their side of the ball? Todd Bowles, a defensive coordinator, defensive-minded head coach. The defense is struggling. He's now head coach, and the defense is struggling. That's not a good sign. They don't look nearly as explosive, as intimidating, or as imposing as they did last season or the year before that during the Super Bowl run. They just don't. Of course, it could be credited to a loss of talent, but come on. You got to do better. You have some big names on there. They just need to be better. And they are so undisciplined as well. I mean, the penalties are killing them too. It's just an overall drainage of talent and just poor play. Tom Brady had that quote a couple weeks ago. He's just watching a lot of bad football around the league. That quote kind of comes to bite him in the rear right now because everybody's making fun of him. They look like they're playing bad football. They are the bad football. And so a lot of people today, this morning, this afternoon are saying, oh, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, no more. Their season's done. Slow down there. You must be a Packers fan because your season is over, not Tom Brady and not the Bucs. They are in a very poor and weak division. They can fight their way out of it. They have Tom Brady. They have a talented defense. They have some key guys that are still there. Chris Godwin. They have Ryan Jensen, who will eventually come back, hopefully. Mike Evans. You still have Scotty Miller. You still have Leonard Fournette. You've got some key guys there. Of course, you have Tom Brady. Let's slow down on the Tampa Bay season is over train. But they still have a lot of stuff to improve. So that's why I'm not saying they are a Super Bowl contender. They most certainly are. But, from all sides, let's zoom out here. Let's get off whatever hype train we're on, whether we are haters or lovers, and let's just watch. Tampa Bay has to improve, and I think they will improve. End of story. I think I've been very complimentary towards the Giants, more so than other programs. Brian Daboll, I have crowned him the undisputed coach of the year. What he has done with the Giants is amazing. We are waking up today, and the Giants are 6-1. Their best start since, I believe, 08 or 09. What we're witnessing right now in New York, on at least the football side, is historic. The New York Jets are doing well. The New York Giants are doing well. And what Brian Daboll is essentially doing that is so impressive, if I had to sum it up in a single phrase, he's doing more with less. It's very remarkable. It's captivating to watch. Daniel Jones, in a league that's all about quarterbacks, Brian Daboll is finding a way to succeed with a quarterback who we think is mediocre, average, maybe below average. And I find it interesting because the philosophy has kind of flipped. In the Northeast, the philosophy was born for years under Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. Hey, we're going to beat you with the guys that you least expect to beat you. And, that kind of overcomplicated things, but it kept guys on their toes, and it worked for years in the NFL. In the early 2010s and early 2000s, late 2000s, that was the stretch of the Patriots dynasty, right? And even going into 2018 and 2019, their goal was to get guys like Chris Hogan and just guys that you wouldn't expect, Danny Amendola, to be the ones who beat you. Now that philosophy has kind of switched and it's been simplified. Brian Daboll is saying, I'm going to beat you, and I'm going to beat you with our stars. It's no secret, and it works. Yes, are they doing a good job of spreading out the ball? Of course. Especially with an injured receiving core that is down a couple men that is pretty below average, they still find ways to do it in the passing game. They still look very good. But when it comes time to make a big play, it's no secret. You're giving the ball to guys like Saquon, whether it's in the passing game on a screen or it's a handoff, you get him in open space. Brian Daboll is giving the ball to his stars. He is letting them be the closer. Hey, I need you. I need to be able to lean on you. This entire team does. Can you do this for us? Can you be our guy? Sure enough, Excellent coaching from Brian Daboll. Even with the injuries on the offensive line, Saquon Barkley looks so healthy. It is so awesome to see. He looks like his Penn State self, hard running, not afraid of contact, excellent athlete. You knew this was coming if he was healthy. And a lot of us had questions, could he ever be healthy again? Sure enough, I'm very happy for him. He is doing a great job, and he's proving his value. And I hope that whether it's on the open market or with an extension, he gets his bag, whether it's from the Giants or just from another team. So Brian Daboll, switching away from the Belichick philosophy in that Northeast area, saying, no, we're not going to beat you with the guys you least expect. We're going to beat you with our most talented guys. You love to see it. It's a shift to that 2022 NFL, that 2022 mindset, putting the ball in the hands of your stars, and it works. Giants are 6-1. I think they can be a great team down the stretch. Even if they win only half of their next games for the rest of the season, they still find themselves about 11 wins. Very competitive team, a team that could certainly win a playoff game. I personally believe heavily in quarterback play. That's the only reason I don't think they could win multiple playoff games or multiple playoff games on the road. But I wouldn't be surprised if they can make the playoffs and maybe steal one away. They look like an excellent team right now. The NFC least has officially become the AFC East. Or the NFC East, pardon. And they are showing that they are just so good as an overall unit. Taylor Heineke also, it's funny. Teams lose Carson Wentz and look even better than they did the previous week. Taylor Heineke brings so much energy, culture, and just overall oomph to that locker room. They support him. Scary Terry had an amazing day. I've talked great about him. I think he's an excellent receiver. I think he's matchup proof in the sense that it doesn't matter who's on them. You saw it this weekend. Jair Alexander, he still cannot guard him. Scary Terry hours in Washington. Curtis Samuel also getting the ball. They move the chains. They're doing a good job. Very tough division right now. I think obviously Philadelphia Eagles make it out of that one, but spots 2 through 4 still very competitive. And it's very fun to watch that kind of football being played. You want parity. You want competitiveness. I don't think you want this upside down, this is the one team that's good in the division. It's funner and more enjoyable to watch, whether you're a fan of that division or not. On Sunday, Fox also gave us America's Game of the Week. Very fun. It was also on National Tight Ends Day. Sure enough, the NFL matchmakers made sure to give us the matchup that we were craving on a day like that. Travis Kelce versus George Kittle. Chiefs, 49ers, excellent matchup, especially considering the blockbuster news. Christian McCaffrey is now a 49er. My heart wanted the 49ers to win, show some signs of life, but realistically, I knew the Chiefs would win. I made them my pick. I selected them. Sure enough, they won the game. It was a close first half, but the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, they find a way to just humiliate you in the second half and blow the doors off the barn, and they just ran away with that game. What did I observe? Kyle Shanahan may have been too excited about Christian McCaffrey. It felt like Kyle Shanahan was a kid waking up on Christmas morning, finding the favorite toy, the one that he wanted on his Christmas list, under the tree, and then he focused on that toy and played with it all day, forgot about everything else. Kyle Shanahan did a great job of trying to game plan early for Christian McCaffrey, giving him way more looks and opportunities to get the ball than we could have expected. But it felt like because of that, the offensive side of the ball as a whole was lacking. Maybe they could have used some more time game planning the overall offense, the overall defense. It looked like they were focused on their new toy. And but nonetheless, great job by the 49ers. I think Jimmy Garoppolo showed his true colors as a great game manager. Obviously, that one tough interception at the end of the first half, going into the half, that's going to happen. You lose an opportunity to get points and a field goal. But otherwise, great job of distributing the football. Field general, good vision, getting the ball to the right guys. And sure enough, getting the ball a couple times to Christian McCaffrey and showing you what that offense will kind of look like going forward, although I'm sure it'll look a lot more refined and better as the weeks go on. But come on. Patrick Mahomes. He rules the NFL, is the best quarterback in the league in my opinion, is top 3 in the MVP race. Of course, Josh Allen number 1, Jalen Hurts number 2, Patrick Mahomes number 3. Nonetheless, the best quarterback in the league, if not one of the best. I'm sure we can all agree there. He is just so dynamic in everything he can do, getting the ball to all different kinds of guys. Now he doesn't have Tyreek Hill. a lot of people have been saying this. I don't think the Chiefs' offense is necessarily better without Tyreek Hill, but it's definitely more dangerous because now you have no idea who the ball is going to once it's snapped to Patrick Mahomes. He is so dynamic. He can keep the ball. He can roll it to the left or right. He can do the sidearm pass. He can give it to Kels, McCole Hardman. He can give it to Juju Smith-Schuster. I mean, it's just like, pick your poison. The defense has no idea what to game plan for. It's a different guy making the big plays every week. And that's why I feel that, a lot of people criticize me for this. They're not better without Tyreek Hill, but in my mind, they are definitely more dangerous. And they're going to prove that in the postseason when you can't game plan during those big moments. Who's the ball going to? You have no idea. You have no idea who the Chiefs and Andy Reid are going to scheme open or who Patrick will end up deciding to give the ball to. It makes for a very dangerous, a very competitive, but a very exciting team to watch as the season goes on. Patrick Mahomes, of course, showing his heroics. 40-plus points? I mean, what can this team not do on the offensive side of the ball? The only reason we don't think they're better than the Buffalo Bills is because of the defense. But that offense is just killer. It is lethal. Nothing can stop them right now. If you only take away one thing or one team from Sunday, I mean, the secret's out. Green Bay is simply a shell of themselves. Aaron Rodgers has become too reliant on the big play from the big guy on the big pass. He misses Davante Adams, and whether he likes it or not, it is very evident that over the last couple seasons, he got a little spoiled. He became too dependent on that big play from the big guy, from Davante Adams, from those amazing hands, from an elite route runner. And when Aaron now has to play with younger guys who are, young, up and coming, and not as elite, not playing perfect football the way that he likes, the errors show. He doesn't trust guys when they drop the ball. Through 3 quarters, Allen Lazard was the only guy with a catch. I mean, Aaron, if they're not digging themselves in a deep enough hole because of their lack of ability on a coaching standpoint with Matt LaFleur, Aaron Rodgers just puts the nail in the coffin. I mean, Matt LaFleur, something that I've said for a while, Matt LaFleur is a good coach in the sense that he can go out there and he can game plan before the game. Okay, these are the 12 or the 15 first plays we're going to run. We're going to put together 2 scoring drives to open up the game. He's great at that. But the second you have to improvise and start calling plays and read situational football, I mean, there might not be anybody worse than him on that side of the ball. What is he doing? He has zero ability to make halftime adjustments. He doesn't know how to adapt to the game. It feels like he shells up just like Aaron does when things get tough. I mean, they are quite literally the perfect worst duo I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, Aaron doesn't trust anyone when the going gets tough, only trusts Davante Adams, who is no longer there, looks like a shell of himself, can't get the ball, doesn't make risks in big moments, and Matt LaFleur can't game plan for being down or how to come back from a deficit. It is so frustrating to watch because you know that there are certain guys on the team that are very talented. A good offensive line, excellent run game, excellent quarterback. Lean on that. If your identity can't be your passing game, then make it be your run game. But can you game plan here? Can you learn how to adapt? Can you play through situational football? It just seems like the Packers are, on top of already being hurt and lacking, they are hurting themselves. They have a bad coach, a quarterback that is great when things are all fun and rosy and the rainbows are out and the flowers are out and it's springtime. But the second they run into adversity, they just can't get their feet out of the mud. They don't know how to progress. They don't know how to get through it. And it's so painfully obvious to everybody watching now. Aaron became too reliant on Davante Adams and the big play from the big guy in the big moment down the stretch of games. It's that simple. And it looks really bad. I don't know how Green Bay gets out of this one. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, at least I can say personnel, coaching, Tom, the great talent they have. They've been on those big stages before. They can make their way back. With the Packers, it's like, well, last year you thought you had a great team and you were a first-round exit. So I don't know how much better this team can get after being this poor to start the season. To me, their season is over. They've taken losses to very poor quarterbacks, very poor quarterback play. I just don't know how they get through this. I don't think they can. I don't think they have the mental fortitude to string this together. The receivers, the young guys, they need to be not held, but they need to be, comforted. They need to be told, hey, we'll get through this. They need encouragement is the right word. They need positive reinforcements. They need encouragement. And Aaron's just not going to give that to you. He's snarky. He's sly. He shows you when he's annoyed. He does the whole eye roll thing. He complains. He throws his hands up. He doesn't hide how he's feeling. And I think sometimes with these young receivers, you can't put all the pressure of the world on them. They're young. 6 months ago, they weren't even playing what were they playing? Rice? They weren't receivers from Alabama. These aren't first-round picks. These aren't guys who were playing in the SEC and are game-tested like the receivers that we've seen and made come to the NFL and make an immediate impact like a CeeDee Lamb or a Jerry Jeudy or a Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson from LSU. They're not that. They're coming from smaller schools. They need time to grow and progress, and Aaron is just not giving them that. And it's rough to watch. I really don't know what the Packers' solution is. To me, as of today, their season is over. The Bengals are back. I really don't know what else to say besides that. For some reason, defenses got a little lazy. They thought, we can start playing man coverage on Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd. No, Joe Burrow is going to pick you apart if you do that. He can throw a pass to any blade of grass on that field. He'll find Jamar Chase if you leave him wide open. Sure enough, Jamar Chase, for the second week in a row, having a resurgence, showing that this team is just as talented as we thought they were. A young team, good chemistry. The locker room is alive and well. And Joe Burrow proving why he's one of the top 5, if not top 3 quarterbacks in the league right now. I mean, to me, it's Josh Allen, in terms of the MVP race at least. Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. I think Joe Burrow's number 4. Minus that week 1 game, he has just 1 interception and I believe 15 or 16 touchdowns. He is showing you how unstoppable he can be. Week 1, it was perfectly excusable. A weak offensive line, and he was coming off major surgery. None of the starters played during preseason. I mean, those struggles were pretty understandable. Once again, people are too quick to overreact. They were selling their stock on the team. I told everybody, zoom out. This team is going to be just fine. They are too talented to not succeed. And they're showing you right now why they could very well be the comfortable leader in that division versus the Ravens. That's our only competition in the division. The Browns season will be over by the time that Deshaun Watson gets back. The Steelers may finish with a losing record. I personally think they will finish with a losing record. It's between them and the Ravens. And if I have to pick one, I think I'm picking the Bengals. Very high character locker room, very comfortable quarterback, excellent weapons. That is the perfect team. The defense is also coming together. The offensive line finally looks good. I mean, this team is really rolling, and it's going to be tough for people who said, they're not going to win, and the guys who already knocked them off the pedestal week 1 to now turn around and say, we were wrong. But sure enough, you're going to have to admit it. If you were one of those people that were selling stock in the Bengals, go try and buy it back. But I can guarantee you, it's going to be a little bit more expensive now than it was then. The Bengals are back, and they are a team to beat right now. Look for them to get hot as the season goes on. Very excited about what Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase can prove down the stretch of the season. It's going to be real magical to watch them play. So the primetime Sunday night game was in my backyard. Steelers versus Dolphins at home. Excellent game. We were expecting a lot from Tua in his return, at least looking to see if he could show that he was comfortable, that he wasn't playing scared, and sure enough, he was not. He made a couple runs there that were a little questionable, maybe a little dangerous, hits that you don't want to take as a quarterback, but I think he was showing his team, hey, you guys are putting your body on the line. I'm not afraid to put mine on the line. It was a great show of sportsmanship, encouragement, showing the team that he's not afraid to play football, which I think is good. I think it was a little bit necessary even. Of course, you'd like to maybe see him lay off those kinds of plays in the future. But sure enough, good win from the Dolphins. Tua, towards the end, going off script, proving why he's not one of the elite top-tier quarterbacks in this game. And, Mike McDaniel was the one who deserves the credit for that win, especially down the stretch of that game. Kenny Pickett and the Steelers and Mike Tomlin coming within just a couple plays of winning that game, very close, especially towards the end. One possession game. Mike McDaniel did an excellent job of holding off the invasion and defending themselves at home in a much-needed win to put the Miami Dolphins back on track. They'll be good moving forward. Just a team that, once again, like the Bengals, just too talented to not succeed, especially in that receiving core. Dolphins looking good. Steelers, looking quite bad. Looks like they're probably going to have their first ever losing season, if I had to take my guess. And what's even worse is, you got to give Kenny Pickett time to grow, to improve. He's not going to be perfect this season. He's going to have those Zach Wilson games from last year, those Josh Allen rookie year games. But, his mistakes are becoming less and less prevalent in his game, less and less mistakes. He is growing into, his role. One of the things that I think is very good is he looks comfortable in the pocket. He doesn't look jittery. He's setting his feet. He knows who to get the ball to. He looks the part of an NFL quarterback. His stance, his demeanor, the way he's playing looks good. It's just a matter of those other things like the decision-making falling into place for them. But, rough season ahead for the Steelers. I don't expect a lot from them. I simply am expecting growth more than anything from Kenny Pickett, which is behind, I'll give him credit, he's behind an awful offensive line. He has good weapons, good receiving core, Najee Harris, excellent top-tier running back. But once again, that offensive line is just awful. They cannot do anything when the offensive line is that bad. You can't get your running game going, and Kenny Pickett looks like he's running for his life on every play. So certain things that, are situational, Kenny Pickett can't grow or be that great or grow that much because of that offensive line, but you'll definitely see him get better as the season progresses. Once again, Dolphins, much needed win. They get it going. They look like they're back on track. Tonight, we witnessed the conclusion of Week 7 of the NFL season, the Chicago Bears versus the New England Patriots. Two historic, old, gritty franchises led by ironically young and unproven quarterbacks, Justin Fields and Bailey Zappi. Could you imagine if I told you prior to Week 1 that was going to be the matchup this week, not Mac Jones? I wouldn't have believed it. You wouldn't have believed it. That's the world we live in, brought on by injuries and by the total uncertainty in the NFL. Who do I think is going to win? Bill Belichick, even in today's day and age, in today's era of the NFL where offense is favored, he always destroys young quarterbacks, especially when they don't have any weapons. Chicago has no weapons, no offensive line, no supporting cast that is good enough around Justin Fields to help him succeed, to bring him out from drowning out of the water that he's in right now. I expect him to struggle as he has this entire season. I expect Bailey Zappi to do exactly what Bill Belichick has asked of him in previous weeks and the things that Bill has allowed Bailey to deliver on. I mean, Bailey has proven, hey, I'm going to do exactly as you say. I'm not going to win you this game, but I'm definitely not going to lose you it. And he's done just enough to get him to win every week. That's why Bill Belichick likes him so much, I think. That's why Bailey Zappi could end up being a starter even if Mac Jones becomes healthy. That remains to be seen. Nonetheless, for the simple purpose of this weekend's matchup, tonight's matchup, I expect the New England Patriots to beat the Chicago Bears comfortably. I expect it to be a comfortable win for Bill Belichick, who imposes his will and his expertise on beating young quarterbacks. Tonight should be no different. After that, we're going to go into Week 8. I can't wait for next week's show. We'll see what the big matchups hold in store. The Philadelphia Eagles and the Buffalo Bills will be back after their bye week. Should be very fun to watch. I'm very excited. Remember, if you missed any parts of the show, the clips are going to be on social media, especially on TikTok, where we've got a very fast-growing platform there. So make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, pretty much anywhere, Twitter as well, at Ben Cure Show. The clips will be posted there. Until next time, subscribe. I'm Benjamin Cure. You're watching The Benjamin Cure Show. Take care, everyone. See you next Monday.